I bought and built the Lego Ninjago Kai's Fire Dragon EVO, and I was not very impressed with the build. So in today's video, we're going to take this dragon build and actually improve it and make it a much better looking dragon. But before we get started, make sure you guys like the video and subscribe down below for more, as all your support is very much appreciated. So now let's get started. In this set, I was actually very impressed with the snake part of it, so we're not going to worry about that at all. I'm not going to change the snake jetpack or the drone. In today's video, we're going to be focusing on this fire dragon. The first glaring issue that I'm going to fix is the wings. Whenever I think of a dragon, I do not think of dragon wings going forward like they are. So we're actually going to reverse those. And in order to do that, I'm just going to pop it off. The head will sometimes fall off, but that's alright. Then I will remove the claw and actually just flip it over. And then just put the wing on essentially backwards. So now your claw is still facing up, but the whole wing is facing backwards. I think that looks a little bit better than the way it looked before. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So yeah, our dragon's already looking a lot better in my opinion. Next, let's tackle the really ugly looking front legs. I am trying to not bring in as many extra pieces as possible. So to get this piece, which I needed to improve the front foot, I did end up having to take apart the back foot, or the back legs rather, and replace this gray ball joint with this black one, and then move the gray one down here so I can get out that gray ball joint and use it for the front legs. So now, with this setup, our tail is going to go here. I will do the same thing to the other side that I did over here. And then this piece will go over top of it, just like that. And I will need to add a red 1x2 right there. Or I guess it doesn't even have to be red. We'll see. Whatever I end up using, you will see it in a second. But let me get this other leg done. Just to go ahead and show you the reassembled front foot, you can see it does not have that extra piece sticking out. You do unfortunately see that gray, but I think it looks a lot better than the really long old jankety leg. You also do lose that 1x2 brown ingot, but I believe we will be able to use that later in the build, so just stay tuned for that. Alright, now we got our rear legs all assembled, and you can see the mobility on these does not change very much from the original build. It does stick out a little bit more in that joint than it did before, but that's something you're not really going to notice. But now, unfortunately, we do end up needing to add a 1x2 plate right there, because of the way the rest of the dragon connects to it. So let's go ahead and add any color 1x2 plate you want. I will try to find a red one, but then we'll see if we even actually see it through the build. I did find this blue one, so we'll go ahead and put it on. Lost our tail. Then we'll put on the rest of the dragon. Go ahead and move these golden things out of the way for now. Put our tail back on. Then we'll put this little cap assembly that didn't change at all back on it. Get our two gold things. And we'll see if we can even see that plate. And it looks like, unfortunately, we are going to be able to see that blue plate in there. So I am going to switch that out to either a red or an orange, whichever one I find first. But if you don't mind being able to see a random color right there, you could definitely change that out to any color you like. I unfortunately could not find any 1x2 plates in red, but I did have two red translucent studs, so I put them in there instead. I think that looks pretty good. Our dragon is already looking a lot better, but one last thing I'd like to try to tackle is the head. I really don't like the dark gray showing on these two pieces here, so I'm going to try to come up with a better way of attaching that jaw to where it looks a little bit more natural and less robotic. I really do like that piece that they introduced, but I think used in this situation was not the best. So yeah, let's go ahead and take this head apart and see what we can figure out for it. So if we pop the head off of the neck, you can see it is a pretty basic structure in here. This just lets the head rotate and attaches it to the neck, while these two gray pieces here hold the jaw and the top of the head together. These two pieces here are the ones that I'm going to try to replace, and to do that I'm going to try to use a variety of different red clip elements to try to make something that looks a little bit better than this. So let's see what we can come up with. Unfortunately, we do not have the parts in this set to fix this. So if you do want to do this, you will have to provide your own pieces, but I will show a parts list at the end. To build a new head assembly, you will first have to take apart the old one and remove the two gray 1x3 double clip pieces. So you will end up with two extra of that piece. The whole assembly at the top for the top of the head with the slope and the two side, that'll all stay the same. And then the bottom jaw piece is just by itself. And instead of using those two gray pieces, you'll actually have a build-up like this for both sides of the head. So on one side, you're going to have one of these 1x4 slope pieces, which is built on top of two of these 1x1 clips and a red jumper. Both of these 1x1 clips could be red, but I could not find 4 red, so I substituted it for a black one. And then on the bottom of whichever one you want your top one to be, you're going to have two red studs. Could be trans red, could be just regular red if you wanted it to be. I chose trans red. So your slope piece will go on the jumper just like that. So yeah, that'll be one half of your head. So you'll come over here and making sure that your two stud is on the top. Clip it to the top jaw and then clip it to the bottom jaw. And then you can close your mouth just like that. So then for the other side, we're going to have a very similar build up with the jumper, the slope, and then the two plates, except on this side, we're going to have, still the top piece is going to have 2 studs on it, but then the bottom one is actually going to have 6 studs. I decided to do 3 studs and then a cylinder piece, but you just need to get to 2 bricks in length, so 6 plates in length on it. So you'll also go over here, clip the bottom onto the bottom jaw, top onto the top jaw, and then you're going to want to make sure this Technic piece goes right in between your 2 buildups of 2 studs there, so that it still has a little bit of room to move, but it does go through clearly. And yeah, that's what our new head ends up looking like. I really like how the sides are a lot more filled in than they were, and also the back with these trans clear studs. If you have his mouth open, you don't see right back through to his body. It'll actually cover that up with those trans clear, which I really like. Unfortunately, I could not find this gray piece in red, or I would have changed that out. If you do happen to have that in red, you could change that out and it would make it a lot nicer. But let's go ahead and get this guy hooked up to the rest of the dragon. So we'll take our piece. It's going to connect the same exact way, just on that one Technic piece into the Technic piece inside the head. And yeah, that ends up looking a lot better in my opinion. You do lose a little bit of mobility with the head, unfortunately, so you can't go side to side as much. But I think being able to look right into his mouth makes up for that. The sides are a lot more filled in now. And yeah, so that's our brand new head. And one other thing I did want to go over with this build is actually with regard to the wings. And I was sitting here thinking about it, and there is a better way to do the wings if you do want to. What you could simply do is take this back wing, flip the claw back around, and put your wing on like that, and then have your claw kind of going out to the side. That way it gives it just a little bit of a different wing look. Whichever one you prefer. I think I am going to go with this side rather than this side. But yeah, just whichever one you prefer. Either one definitely looks better than the way it was originally in the set. So yeah, that's our completed modification of Kai's Dragon EVO. Let me know down below what you think of these mods. But before we go, I will go ahead and show you all the parts that I added, as well as the parts that you end up with extra of. If you do the mods exactly as I did them, you will end up with 2 ingot pieces in brown, 1 2x3 plate in red, and the 2 gray double clip pieces left over. You can add these back to the build if you'd like, or you can just leave them off like I did. Here are all the extra parts that you will need to provide on your own to complete the modification. All these parts did come from the head of the model. So if you do not want to do the head part, you can do everything else with just the pieces included in this set. And all of these studs up here can be any color you like. I just prefer the warmer colors because it matches the fire dragon. And this 1x1 cylinder can be replaced by 3 more red studs if you'd like. These black clips can also be replaced by red or orange, but I didn't have any more red, so I had to use black. So yeah, that's all the parts that you will need to complete this modification. Let me know down below what you think of this modified version of Kai's Ninja Dragon EVO, and let me know if you're going to be doing this build for yourself. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe for more awesome LEGO content. Thank you all for watching. SuperBricks37 signing off.